So I've got a nice quick seedling update for you. I like to show you how the seedlings are doing that I've sowed last month, maybe the month before, and this month, and just to show you how things progress and how slowly actually things progress at this time of year. But what a nice time of year it is as well for growing certain things with certain strategies, and I'll try and talk about that as I go through the video. So let's take a look. So I thought I'd just give you a quick update on the seedling progress for the month. So here we've got all the lettuces I sowed a week ago. So these are all lettuces here, and they're all pretty much coming up. I've got a few Brussels sprouts and just a few calabrese, and everything is up now. Quite patchy kind of germination if you compare, for example, this lollo with the canaster. Quite a big difference. And I did a test sowing of red kitten, so some old seed. I want to be sowing that in spring really early, and I don't think I'll be sowing that seed packet because that germination is pretty bad. I think probably only a fifth of those seeds germinated, whereas the bold hardy, for example, that's a beetroot, that all germinated. So it's pretty useful just to do these test germinations at this time of year, just to see how things are going. The Brighton, as per previous experience, again, really grotty germination. And I've got my next batch here of broad beans, and they're ready to go to the polytunnel now. They don't need to be in the conservatory. I've got a few more lettuce seedlings outside. These are just spares really, but I might end up using those. And I've got some spare garlics, again, just in case I get any duds. So I always just pop a few into trays. So my green garlics are the ones that are going to be harvested green in April and May. They're all looking pretty good now. They're coming through, which is great. My later planted garlics that will be harvested in June, they're not up yet. Okay, so I'm in the polytunnel. We'll just do a quick seedling update in here as well. So these are my, I guess they're spare lettuces really. I don't think I'm going to get them planted now, but who knows. It's nice to have spares. Spare spinach as well. These are the little Brussels sprout plants that I grow for leaves in May, and they are looking a little bit feeble, but they're looking a lot better than when I transplanted them, so I think they're going to grow okay. They're definitely picking up, and of course I don't want to actually plant them out until about March, so by then they should be looking pretty good. And those were those broad beans that I had in the conservatory. These are my oldest calabrese, so these are the 9th of September. And I've got a few successions of calabrese here. So obviously these will be the first ones to go out, the first ones to harvest. These will probably be somewhere like late April, I should think. I've got a few spring cabbages. I've got lots of spring cabbages out in the ground, but it's nice to have some younger ones that, you know, just in case we get any problems. But also I've got space opening up, so I'll be able to pop those out. These, with the label the wrong way round, are snowball cauliflowers, and so those at the back are the best ones. So those were 9th of September, and they looked really sickly when I planted those out last month, potted them on last month. They looked basically like these, which I potted on just now, and these are 2 weeks later, so these were planted 22nd of September. And I do find cauliflowers, they do start very slowly at this time of year, but as you can see from these, they pick up really nicely and they're doing well. So I only need 6 cauliflowers. I've got 7 plants there, so hopefully I shall get those, and they'll get planted out in the polytunnel in February. And then I've got some more calabrese, so these were planted 2 weeks later, 22nd of September, so you can see a big difference. So those are 2 weeks younger than those. And then these were planted about 10 days later, and so these all pick up, but what I want is a nice succession. So I should imagine these will be ready sometime about middle of May, just before I take them out and put the tomatoes in. So these will probably go in the polytunnel as well, and then these are kind of that in the middle of May, beginning of May, and those kind of end of April. So that's the sort of succession. Similar sort of story for the cauliflowers, although cauliflowers do stand a little bit longer at that time of year than calabrese does. So quite a nice selection, I think, there of seedlings, given that everything at the moment, every bed is planted up at the moment, so I've got nowhere to put them. That's why I like doing it this way. I just keep them in here, unheated, unprotected, in the polytunnel. If we did get a really bad frost, I would fleece them. So I would put them down here on the path here and put some thick fleece over them, because I don't want them to get too stressed. I don't want them to get too much heat. I don't want them to get too much cold. I want them to think they're in kind of March time, really. So I'm trying to fool them into thinking they're in March, and then when they're planted out, I'm trying to fool them to thinking they're perhaps in the end of March, and they should then grow on in the polytunnel thinking they're growing in April and May and June. So just fooling them a little bit. So almost everything else I've got is ready for harvest, so I won't show you that because I showed you that stuff in the video tour, but I've just got these not quite ready for harvest yet. Ideally these will be ready late December. So if you want more details on anything that I show in my videos, best place to go is my book, and you scroll all the way down to the reference information section, and then you can see all the details for anything that I did in a particular month. So in this case we were looking mainly at those lettuces that I sowed in November. So if you scroll down here, then you'll be able to see this is what we sowed in November. So those carrots, those broad beans, the garlic, lots of garlic, more garlic, and then all of these lettuce varieties. So you see the sowing dates for those. And if you went back to September, then here's what we sowed in September. So then here's all the stuff that I sowed in September. And you know, if I kept on scrolling down here, then eventually we would get to the calabrese and the cauliflowers and the cabbages. Here they are, actually. So this is the best place to kind of get information on what I did, why I did it, and all of that sort of thing, and just see all of the progress. And you can, of course, also see lots of videos in here. So for example, you can see my what am I sowing and growing video for each of the months, etc. So I hope you like this quick seedling update. My name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.